Hello everyone, myself Shweta Shetty, working as an assistant professor in the Department of ISC at Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. So, the subject which I am going to handle is software engineering. So, all about you need to know what you are going to learn in this particular concept of in your course objective. So, what is the course objective of this software engineering and what are the things you are going to learn in this particular subject? Those are the things you should know. So, very well in the very first module, that is the module first, is all about the introduction towards your software engineering. That is, what is the need of software and how did the software engineering subject is been involved and how actually it is been done, and what are the ethics to be followed as a software engineers, and accordingly you will learn what are the software process models, that is your waterfall model, incremental model and the spiral model. With the continuation to that, you will also learn in your module 2 all about the objects and classes. And very well, that is the important thing, that is the fundamental where you are going to continue with your further semesters. Hence, with the fundamental towards your objects and the classes you are going to learn in your second, and where there is a notifications as well as in order to build the models. So, basically you need to know some of the fundamentals of the objects and the class. So, accordingly on continuation towards that is the module 2, the next is the module 3. So, all about the module 3 is the system models. So, again you are going to learn, so what is the types of system models we can build, that is the contextual, or it might be a behavioral, or it might be a structural. So, accordingly you are going to learn the third module with the different system models, and also you are going to learn how to design a model and how to implement it. So, that is the third module, and in continuation to that you are going to deal with the module 4, that is all about the software testing. So, what is this software testing, what is the need of the software testing, and how we are going to validate the product once it is been built by the software engineers, and what are the tasks that is going to be handled in the within the organization. That is what you are going to learn in your module 4, and in the module 5, that is the end of the chapter where you are going to learn the project management. That is the very important thing where you will learn the way of approaching the estimation techniques, how the project will be validated and how it will be reviewed and how it will be inspected. So, on basis of that you are going to learn the module 5, as well as you will also learn how the quality management will be done in the respective of the software engineering. So, this is all about the course objective of this particular subject. If I am going to teach with respect to in the very first module, that is the intro towards your software engineering. So, by the way, in a general talk we should know why we need to learn this particular concept. So, very well, the software, if when we describe what is the software, we will be telling that software is nothing but the computer program, or it might be a computer program instructions. So, accordingly that is the general, basically we will be defining the software engineering, but there is a much more contents you should be knowing, and as well as you should analyze it. So, that is the major concept why we are going with this particular. Fundamentally, as we are becoming in the final semester, what we call as the software engineers, before that you should know what are the tasks, what are the terms you should be aware, and how well by the end of each of the semesters, by the end of the engineering course, you will get to know what is the things you will be followed on basic of this fundamental. So, very well, let us know how did this concept of software engineering arise. So, if you are going to say that before, so we should know the problem, where the problem will be giving the successful solution. So, likewise the software engineering also goes. So, when we speak about the software engineering, before that the concept of software crisis was arised. So, what is the software crisis and what made the standardized definition towards your software engineering? That is the thing you should know. So, software crisis is nothing but where there were in previous or the early days of the computing science, where they were not able to write the efficient coding, or they find it the coding difficult, as well as it was not over the time. So that's the main thing where that made the concept of bringing out the solutions. So that should be solved. So with respect to the writing the difficulty also, there were many crises. So there were the several crisis way. What are the crises they have observed? So that's the very first is the project running over the budget. So on according to the budget, they were not able to come up by the required, project was not completed in the overtime, as well as the with the given budget. It was going beyond the limit, where they were not able to cover up the budget. And second thing is overtime. Whatever the limitation or the constraints they have come up with the time, they were not able to reach it. So that's the second crisis. And the third one was the software was of very low quality. So there was no set of standard was set up to the software. So that's how the software was very low quality. And the fourth one is the software did not meet the requirements. So very basic necessity was the, in order to reach the requirements of the customers, where it was the failures where they have observed, as the software also was not at all delivered. So accordingly, what happened? All these crises, these are the several crisis ways that made the software as one of the terminologies where it should be developed. So in continuation also they have observed the what actually is the failures of the software. So accordingly they have come up by the 2 points. That is the first one, increased demand, and the second one is the low expectation. How will you say that is the increased demand will be the failure to the software? Yes, exactly. There is a, this is the term where it made the failure to the increased demand. As soon as the new technologies arise, with respect to the new methods arise, what happened? So accordingly, the engineers were not able to cope up with the requirements, where they were not very much quickly enough to bring up the required data. So what happened? So complex or the required products was built up, but it was not able to reach the required budget. So accordingly, that is the increasing demand where software engineers were not able to reach that particular level. And the second one is the low expectation. So in an easier way, we can say that the software product or the software where it's a relative way of writing the simple programs. No. What happened? The simple programs did not reach the requirements. What happened? The required companies, they have drifted the required software into the developing, and they made into the product and started selling out. So as a result of that, where the software engineering methods and techniques was not used in the basic way. So in order to that, without the low expectation, the softwares were very expensive, as well as they were not at all reliable. So this is the second failure which made the software should be which should be made better. So these are the 2 points should be kept in mind, where the people were lagging in the proper software engineering training as well as the education. So these points, these crises as well as these failures, where that made the continuation towards the professional software development concept. So what is this professionalism means? We can say a set of standard where that will be set into the some particular development stages. So what happened? The software engineers, instead of entertaining the individual programs, they started working on giving the professional software development, so that it includes all the specifications, designs as well as the developing statement. So as a common people, many people thinks, oh, it's nothing but the software is writing the programs, but actually they bought the concept. It's not only writing the programs, it is also associated with the documentation and configuration of the data. So accordingly, what happened? The professional software development they added. For an example or the real-time example, we can compare a student who will solve the mathematical problems. Only with the, he does not follow one particular method. we can use many methods and we can simplify the complex problems according to the skills. So likewise, we needed the external methods, external technical skill in order to bring the professional standard for the software. So likewise, they started working on the proper documentation as well as the configuration of the data. So likewise, what happened? The professional software development was started out. So accordingly, frequently asked questions sometimes you may be observed. That is, what is software engineering? That is the computer programs associated with the documentation as well as that will be developed based on the customer's requirement. That's why that will be made as a generic and that will be sold out to the markets. So likewise, the software engineering will be defined. And one more questions they'll ask, what is software engineering versus what is computer science? There is the difference, where the computer science that will basically fundamentally they will be working on the theories. So accordingly, on basis of the working of the theories, that's not the term of software engineering. There is the difference. What happens in the software engineering, the more concentration will be given towards the practicalities. So, well, from the designing to the development as well as till the that is reached to the customers. So, there is a difference between software engineering and computer science. So, on coming up with all this frequently asked questions, the next thing will be majorly observing on the very first types of software product. So, generally we are going to divide the types of software product into two types. That is the first one, generic product, and the second one, customized product. What do you mean by this generic product? So, well, that is also called as the stand-alone system. It is also called as the stand-alone system, where the product will be generated and that will be sold out to the market. Whenever the customer who wishes to buy, he can buy. So that will be made as the generalized. For an example, all your graphic programs, or it might be the CAD tools or the project management tools, or as well as the usually we will see the example of the appointment of the dentist. So all that follows the generic form of the applications, and where the customers wishes to buy according to his requirements, he is going to make use of this particular generic product. The same way, the second one is the customized product. So basically, the customer or the client, what he wishes to for the required features. So accordingly, that particular product will be featured and that will be added on to the requirements of the client, and that will be given to him. For an example, the college attendance system. So on basis of the different organization, what are the expectation, or however the timetable they are going to follow, or some of the protocols they are going to follow. So all that will be set into a one particular product, and that will be made as the customized. Accordingly, one more thing also, we can give the many examples of like this, that is the customized on the basis of the requirements of the clients. And basically, the software, these are the 4 points, you should keep it in mind while learning the software engineering concepts. The fundamental 4 activities, what that will be followed, that is the main thing. So very first is the software specification. Second thing is the software development, and the third one software validation, and the fourth one software evolution. So what does this mean by software specification? So the thing where you need to be analyzed is the software specification. Basically the two people will be involved here, that is the engineers and the clients. They come up with the software and they'll put off some of the operational constraint where the application should be working on. So accordingly, the specifications will be working. And the second one is the software development. So this particular activity, all that involves is the designing the software as well as the code maintenance, or the bringing up the different code. So all that particular set of stages will be working under this software development. That's the thing you should keep it in mind. And software validation, what does this mean by of validation? Why we require the software validation is that process will be happening in the software validation process. That's the question mark. If we go through that, there is a concept. Yes, of course, we'll validate. That is, we'll check out once the product is been ready. Once the software is been ready, we'll check out whether it is meeting the requirements. Very first, they'll take all the specifications. That is, what we need, how should be the software. So, on gathering the requirements, the next thing is we need to validate. That's the phase where we'll check out whether the software has reached the customer requirements, and if it is yes, it is been, then it will be progress to the software evolution. So finally the software evolution, that what is the modifications that will be done in the software that will be reached towards the, that reflects actually the customer as well as the engineer's modification that will be reached towards the changing that happens in the environment. And as soon as that particular software is able to change or the required modification will be setting out the satisfaction of the customer. So all that goes with the software evolution. So accordingly, you should be keeping in mind all these 4 software activities. First one is software specification, second one software development, and the third one software validation, and the fourth one software evolution. I hope we will be getting out with this 4 software activities. Next thing you should be knowing about the what are the essential attributes of the good software. We will set out some standards of the attributes where actually the software should be, we cannot set out all the attributes. So on a generalized way, they have set out some of the essential attributes which should be followed by the software. So if we are going to tell about that, first one is the maintainability. So what is this maintainability? So what happens is all the software which will be written, that will be in a form of where it will meet the required changes. So accordingly what happens, this maintainability plays the major role where it should be able to meet the changing requirements. We cannot say that once the software is built that will be used for the long more years. No, we can just see in our daily basis itself. So one or the other day or on a one particular day itself, we see the different new technologies. Is it not? So there are updations for every second, or it might be for every minute. So that should be maintained according to the requirements. That's the major essential attributes that should be followed in the software engineering. If we go with the second one, what is this dependability and security? So yes, the software also will set out some of the range of characteristics. What is that range of characteristics? That is nothing but the range of characteristics involves the that should be reliable, that should be secure. So that's how the set of characteristics of each software will be maintained. Whenever the software is trustworthy, is it not? When we go to the Play Store, we'll check out the reviews of the required applications, is it not? So accordingly, on basis of the reviews, you are going to find out whether it is a good applications where I can be downloaded to my mobile or your systems. So likewise, that plays the range of characteristic where it should be reliable as well as where it should be secure. That is where the malicious user should not access your particular data. Then only we'll say that it is the secured app or secured software where I can put into my system. So that's the second attribute where it forms the essential attributes of the good software. And accordingly, if I say the third one, efficiency. What is that efficiency? How does it can be followed in the software engineering? So if you are speaking about the efficiency, where the system should not waste the resources. That's the main thing where the efficiency can be calculated of the any software, the product. So accordingly, the memory utilizations where it will be followed and processing cycle. So all these things, how actually the operating system will be maintaining the required efficiency will be calculated, that you will learn in your coming semesters in your operating system. So likewise, these fundamentals will be continued. So accordingly, on that particular continuation itself, you will get to know how it is related each subjects and what are the techniques you need to take out from each of the subject, and that should be applied in your future projects. So every subject is important, so that you should concentrate what actually I am taking from this particular subject and how it is being related to the upcoming things. So efficiency, basically where the resources should not be wasted and the memory should be utilized properly. So that's the point. And the fourth one, acceptability. So when do we accept the required data or required applications? Whenever it satisfies my requirements, is it not? So likewise, the acceptability where the product will be built according to the requirements of the designer. So accordingly, the client who is accepting, how does he accept? Whenever we go to the market, we'll look into the required products where it is easy to use, where it is understandable, I can operate and I can work it on, is it not? Does he go for the complexity? Yes. One who challengely accept it, they are going to take the complex things. But usually on a general basis, we can say that a customer will go to the product which is very useful and which is understandable and it is compatible to run in the other system also. So likewise, the acceptability concept goes. So that's why these are the majorly or the basic 4 kinds of essential attributes of the software will be followed. So this is the 4 points, you should keep it in mind as the essential attributes of the good software. There is not only such we can expect the required good things, is it not? What happens? There will be also some of the issues. So what are the issues we can find out in the software engineering? So basically the first one, heterogeneity. So whenever there is an increasing demand of the system where it should be operated in the distributed networks, what happens? We need more number of computers, we need the more number of devices. That is the heterogeneity, where we cannot reach the requirement increasing demand of the computers, is it not? Hence that is the one of the general issues where we are going to follow in the heterogeneity concept. If we are going to speak second one, that is the business and social change. How will that business and social change will affect? That is the question. So on basis of simply if you are going to observe on daily, as I said, on a daily basis the updation of the techniques goes. What happens? The software engineers should be ready to take up or accept all that changes, and where his software should be accepting those requirements and where the existing software should accept that challenge and it should run. So what happens? Is that possible if we say? So it's easy to say that we can change, but while working on in depth to the required data, it's impossible. So on basis of the economical changes, the software cannot be bring out so easily. So that's the one of the issues. The third one, security and trust. Yes, we are living in a interliving world where we are totally dependent on the required softwares, where we are going to securely trust it, is it not? Even though blankly we may trust the required software, we have to. We cannot expect whether it is 100% secure or it is 100% trustworthy where I can give the softwares. That's the question. So all these 3 issues which cannot be, we cannot give the 100% guarantee. So hence these are the 3 general issues where you need to come up. So if you are speaking all this, now you may have, by the time you may have got some simple idea what is software. So that is not. So keep it in mind whenever they ask what is software engineering. You cannot just say it's just a computer program. No, it is an engineering discipline. It's an engineering discipline that is concerned with all aspects of software production. So by the standard set of definition, why it is called engineering discipline? Why? Because you will be standardized with the set of theories, set of tools, as well as the set of methods. So all that will be involved in your engineering discipline. And if we speak regarding the concern with all aspects of the software production, that is from the early stage of the requirements gathering to the delivery of the product to the market. So until that, what all the process goes, that we call it as that is the software that is concerned with all aspects of software production. So by the time now you have an idea how the software engineering process is being evolved, is it not? You got an idea how actually it has been an evolution to the software crisis towards the set of profession and to the set of types of software you have learned, and accordingly the required data. And one more thing you should know, that is the application types. What is this application types? So one thing you should keep it in mind is the software diversity. If we say the concept of software diversity, where we cannot just say the software, there is no any universal set of software techniques. This is the one universal software technique you can apply for all the applications. No, there is still now we have not found it out any universal set of software, okay, software techniques. So what happens on the requirements, on the situation, what we are going to come up is the different types of applications. So in order to know that, you should know some of the application types. So the first one is the standalone applications, and the second one is the interactive transaction, and the third one is the embedded system, and the fourth one is the entertainment. Fifth one is the batch processing system. And the sixth one is of the system validation and simulation. And the seventh one is all about the data collection system. You may ask now, what is the standalone system or a standalone applications? These are generally purely a local running PC, where we are not depending on any of the networks. We will be running up the applications on by ourselves. So those kind of particular applications are called as the standalone application. So where we are not depending on any of the networks, we will be working on our local running application. Hence that is the first standalone application. If you go with the second one, what is this interactive transaction? So this is nothing but the system, the applications which will be running in the remote computers, where I am the user, I am going to operate or access that particular applications in from my personal computer. What is the best example we can say? That is nothing but what you do in a daily basis of your online shopping, is it not? That is the best example, where you are going to access the remote applications from your own PCs or from your own mobile phone. So that is the second type of interactive transaction application. And if I go with the third one, embedded system, where the system or the software that will control the hardware devices. So very best example is all your microwave ovens, or it might be your washing machines, or your interlock, that is the lock system in your cars, is it not? So where the system or the software will control the hardware devices. So hence that is the one of the embedded system kind of applications. That is the third thing. And fourth one is the entertainment system. That is where the entertainment will be particularly for the private users, is it not? Where we are working on all your games, where we are going to watch the required movies on the required applications. That's all your Prime, Amazons and your PUBG games, right? So all those are the entertainment based applications or the entertainment based system. And if you go with the batch processing system, what is this batch processing system? Where the data will be formed into the large batches that will be followed. So the best example I'll tell you, that is all your billing system. That is your, it might be a phone, or it might be a electricity bill, is it not? So all those are also, and also the salary payment system. Those all are the batch processing system, where the huge or the large kind of data will be processed. So accordingly, those billing system is the batch processing system. Understood? So likewise, if we go with the system validation, that is the, or it might be a simulation. So all such kinds of data, that is nothing but that will be followed by the scientist. Okay, that will be followed by the scientist, or might be the engineers on basis of the scientific problems. So such kind of simulations or the applications will be just basic on the scientific problem solution. So accordingly, there are many application types on the basis of the requirements. Hence we are just telling you regarding the some of the generalized application types. So these are the some generalized ways where we are going to deal with the application types. And there are also data collection system. So what is this data collection system? So there are many environments where I am going to collect the data from the sensors and I will be transferring to the required servers, is it not? So that's how a satellite is working, is it not? That's the best example. So likewise, we are going to collect the data and we are going to analyze the required collection of data with that particular to the system. Weather forecasting system, that's also an best example for data collection from the sensors from the remote areas, and that will be transferred. So likewise, where these are the different application types we will be working on. These are the different application types which will be working on the required things. I hope you got to know what is the difference between the application types. Okay, so the next thing is all about the ethics. You may get an doubt, how does this ethics will be related to the software engineering? How it is related to the concept of software engineers, why we need to follow the ethics? By the way, what do you mean by ethics? That is nothing but, we can just in a simplified way, we can say that is the moral principles. Yes, of course, as a person where we are following in a general basis some of the principles of our life, accordingly the software engineers also will be in a domain of working according to ethics. So on basis of these more principles, generally why these concepts of ethics occurred in the concept of software engineering is all about the concept of where the issues occurred. Basically the issues occurred, the four responsibility of the issues. First one was the confidentiality, where the confidence of data, confidential data of the either it might be the client or it might be the employer, where it was not followed. That's the first general issue. The second thing is the all about the, that is the competence, where the software engineers, the domain where he is supposed to work, he is going out of the boundary which he doesn't know. So accordingly that made the second issue. So accordingly, on continuation to that, the third is the intellectual property. So you may have observed, while accessing one of the files, that will be not able to download. Why? Because that will be copyrighted, where to the specified persons can be accessed, as well as it might be a patented. So you cannot access the one person who has the authority to access, they can be access the required document. So these are the intellectual properties where he should be aware, but the software engineers, due to the required laws, where he was not aware of the local governing laws, he used to work. That's the third issue. And the fourth one, computer misuse, due to the selfishness or to the jealous, will be using the colleagues' computers, where unknowingly or unknowingly the virus might be downloaded and where the whole system may be crashed out. So all these are the four general issues where we see. Hence what happened? They form the concept of ethics by the ACM and IEEE standards. That is the Association of Computer Machinery and the Institute of Electrical Engineers. What happened? They formed some of the ethics, set of standard of ethics was found out. So what happened? Basically this was set out by the members of the US. So they formed some of the code practice concept. What is this code practice, you may ask? So accordingly they were concentrated on the general issues. Accordingly 8 principles was brought out. So what is the first set of 8 principles they have observed is the very first, public. So what made this ethic is nothing but the software engineers should maintain the consistency with the public interest. So that's the first principle, that is called as the, which is called as the public. The second one is the client and employer. The software engineer should be aware of the confidentiality or the competency where that should be observed. Accordingly that should be supportive to the client as well as the required employer support. That is the second code practice. And the third one is all about the product, where the software engineer should be ensured of his product, where that should meet the professional standards, that should not reach the locally set of way, where it should set out the professional standards. That is the third code practice. And the fourth one is all about the management. So on basis of the requirement of the management, where the leaders as well as the software engineering managers all will be set out to some of the ethics, and they should be aware where the ethically all the process of the developing of the software goes. Hence that is the one of the core principle where the management should be working on. That's the thing. And the other thing is the profession. Yes, the software engineers should be professional, where he should have the authority of working accordingly towards the public interest, where he should be profession. That's the point to be noted, where accordingly that should be managed. And the one more thing is the colleagues. Yes, colleagues plays the major role, where that should be supportive. Every software engineer should be supportive towards his team, and they should bring up the product or the software. That's the one of the core practice. And the last one is the self. So self is all about the, yes, each software engineer should be a learner from his beginning of his career towards the the end of his career. So each day is the new thing, he should be updated and he should be a self learner. So accordingly, these are the set of standard of ethics or the code practice or the 8 principles which followed by the ACM and IEEE. So each software engineer, the thing is nothing but only where the software engineers should not be aware of working to the money, or he should not be selfish. Accordingly, he should be working to the society welfare, as well as where he should follow the set of ethics, where he should not be working to the selfish of the things. So accordingly, these are the set of core practices or the 8 principles where the software engineer should be able to work on. So likewise, you people should be aware of all this ethics and the 8 principles while working as the good software engineers. So by the way, you got to know all the intro towards your software engineering. So the next thing we'll be learning with the software process. Okay, so accordingly, these are the things as a software engineers you should know regarding the some of the generalized fundamental towards the subject.